Chris Olave to Trevor Penning to Alontae Taylor to even DeMarco Jackson to the insane amount of talent that is in the Saints undrafted free agent pool, undrafted rookie pool this year, to the biggest news of the day of Tyrann Mathieu signing with the New Orleans Saints for a 3-year deal in the coming days. I have to be honest, guys. I actually am very happy that I'm wrong. What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Who Dat Davis here for you. And as always, if you guys don't know, you will know that over here we bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. And guys, you can see I am all Saints geared up for this episode because I am showing myself eating a bunch of crows. I'm eating crow's feet today because I got humbled. The New Orleans Saints actually shut me up. They actually proved me wrong. This offseason has been everything the Saints have needed with a little extra on top of it. And they still aren't done. They still have moves left to make before they get into training camp later on this year. But before we get into all that, we have to talk about the breaking news story of the day, and that is that Tyrann Mathieu is going to be signing with the New Orleans Saints in the coming days. He's going to be signing a 3-year, $33 million deal with $18 million of that money guaranteed. That is an absolute win for the New Orleans Saints. All-pro safety Tyrann Mathieu, who can do pretty much anything you ask of him when it comes to playing in a safety spot, whether it's down in the box or he can play that free safety role. You ask of him, he'll do it. That's how good Tyrann Mathieu is. That's just on the field stuff. What about off the field? You're getting a very, very strong, very, very commanding leader in your secondary to replace Malcolm Jenkins. And once again, congratulations to a successful NFL career, Malcolm Jenkins. Enjoy retirement, brother. But when we went into this offseason, the New Orleans Saints had a lot of questions to answer when it comes to their secondary. Because not only did they lose Malcolm Jenkins, they lost Marcus Williams to free agency because he went and signed a lucrative deal with the Baltimore Ravens. And he and the Saints are going to be clashing again this upcoming year as the Saints and the Baltimore Ravens are set to go head-to-head along with the rest of the AFC North. But I did not see this coming. I had my doubts. I really did. I had no idea the Saints were actually going to be able to pull off a signing of Tyrann Mathieu. I went on Hoodie Juice podcast the other day talking about, we don't know that yet. I have my doubts. We've seen this movie before, this, that, and whatever the case. Dennis Allen shut me up. And that's just one of many instances of Dennis Allen proving me wrong so far this year. And not only just this year, but in how quickly he managed to make a believer out of me. In just less than 2 months, Dennis Allen made not only the right moves, but was the more common sense moves that Sean Payton would refuse to make. And I'm not trying to slander Sean Payton at all. I'm very, very grateful of the successful tenure he has had here with New Orleans, both on and off the field. But the last couple of years, the New Orleans Saints have been desperately trying to fill in a number 2 receiver, and it just hasn't happened. And Sean Payton refused to adjust it. I cannot express how frustrated I have been when I heard Sean Payton say that he likes the guys that we have in the room. Absolutely not. Why? Why would you say that? That is not something that you say. I know you're trying to give you guys confidence, right? I get that. But you have to continuously try to address your wide receiving core. We all knew that. And he just refused to do it. Dennis Allen proved me wrong. The coaching philosophy of Dennis Allen is showing to be much different than Sean Payton. Even though some fundamentals are the same, or I would say similar, it's just something about what Dennis Allen did. It sparked new life. It sparked new life. Dennis Allen traded up in the first round to get wide receiver CHRIS Olave. He was mocked to be going to the Saints at number 16. We got him at number 11. And a lot of people, and I say a lot of people as in these main heads on the main sports media, mainstream media, they want to talk about the Saints reaching to get CHRIS Olave, considering what they had to trade to give up. They thrown in all these different picks and next round picks to move up to get CHRIS Olave. No, that wasn't the case at all. Don't listen to those folks, man. Don't listen to the folks. They don't know what they're talking about. The Saints were right to trade up to get CHRIS Olave. And I'm going to tell you why. When Drake London was first taken by the Atlanta Falcons, Dennis Allen and company understood that the receivers for this year's draft class are going to be selling like hotcakes in the first round after Drake London was taken to the Atlanta Falcons. That set off a chain reaction. The Saints were in striking distance to make a trade, and they took it. We have always said that if they like a guy, they need to not be shy. They need to go and get him, them, whoever the case may be. This is exactly what they did, and it couldn't have come at a better time because not even 2 picks after that, the Detroit Lions traded up to number 12 and take Jameson Williams, wide receiver from Alabama. And who went after that? Who went before that? Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver from Ohio State. So Drake London, Garrett Wilson, CHRIS Olave, Jameson Williams. 4 of the top 5 receivers went within back to back of each other. The Saints struck while the iron was hot, and they didn't settle. They would have had to settle for Treylon Burks if they stayed where they were at, because Treylon Burks went after 16. Because the Tennessee Titans traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles. I'm still kind of They traded A.J. Brown to the Philadelphia Eagles, and he got a fat pay of paying $100 million in the contract, and they took Treylon Burks to replace him. Now, I've always said that Treylon Burks was kind of similar to A.J. Brown to begin with, so it made a lot of sense for the Tennessee Titans. I'm not mad at them for that. But the fact of the matter is, they would have had to have taken Treylon Burks to settle if they didn't go up and get CHRIS Olave. I loved the move. I absolutely loved it. Now, what about the second round pick? Actually, no, let's not even get a second round. Let's get into our next first round pick, and Trevor Penning, tackle from UNI, University of Northern Iowa. That dude is mean. That dude is nasty. He plays with a lot of strength to a lot of strength. He has strong foundations. Needs to work a little bit on his technique, but those things that you can be coached are there, and that's good. What you want in your tackle, you want things that can't be coached. What can't be coached is you have to have the drive. You have to have the mean streak. You have to have the ability to, or the willingness to want to fight the person across from you. And that's what Trevor Penning is all about. Dennis Allen said in the media that he would rather have a guy that he would have to pull the reins back on than have to kick someone in the ass to get going. And I like that philosophy. It's so simple, but it's so effective. Trevor Penning is going to be a star, next franchise tackle for the New Orleans Saints, and it couldn't come in a better time. Now, the offensive line is sort of going to show that it could be a strength this year because the guard play between Cesar Ruiz and Andres Pete has a lot to be desired. Hopefully, Dennis Allen goes to this training camp not guaranteeing that right guard spot for Cesar Ruiz. As much as I have defended Cesar Ruiz these last 2 seasons, this third year, he's going to have to prove me wrong. He's going to have to prove me and everybody else wrong that he is worth keeping on the starting offensive line. I hope they have a competition in training camp so Cesar Ruiz knows that his time is short, is going to be on a short leash. I really, really do. And some of these undrafted guys, probably even Jordan Mills or maybe even Calvin Throckmorton, someone needs to compete with Cesar Ruiz for that right guard spot. Somebody. And it's not going to be Will Clapp because Will Clapp is gone. Clapp signed a deal with the Los Angeles Chargers. Good luck to you over there, Clapp. I hope the best for you, but it is what it is. I hope Trevor Penning pans out well. I really do. But as far as the first round goes, it's a win. It's a win for the Saints. It's an A+ grade for me when it comes to the New Orleans Saints in the first round. Because it was just so obvious. They made the right and obvious decisions. That's something we couldn't say with Sean Payton when it comes to first-round picks. I mean, look at the last 2 years. Peyton Turner was a reach. Cesar Ruiz was definitely a reach. I know they had to replace Larry Warford, but it's still considered a reach, given what little production he's had so far. It's refreshing. It's very refreshing. That's all I can say about that. It's refreshing. I like that. The second-round pick is I can see it. I took some time to sleep on it, but I can see it. In the second round, the New Orleans Saints took cornerback Alontae Taylor from Tennessee. Now, a lot of us are thinking, why did we reach for a cornerback? Well, at the same time, the Saints have found this pipeline, this relationship, not just with Ohio State, obviously, but they found gems, they find diamonds out of Tennessee players, Alvin Kamara, Shai Toto, Marquez Callaway. The list goes on. And now Alontae Taylor is potentially slated to be that diamond or that next gem that the Saints can pick out of Tennessee. When the Saints took Alvin Kamara in the third round in 2017, it was also considered a stretch because they still had Adrian Peterson, they still had Mark Ingram. Just because it's not a position of need doesn't mean that you can't really add to it, right? You can never have too many good corners. And now both the right and left boundaries for the secondary for the cornerback position is I like it. Your starting is going to be obviously Marshawn Lattimore and Paulson Adebo. But what about the ones behind that? Well, you've already got Bradley Roby subbing in for Paulson Adebo. But what about Marshawn Lattimore? Who's going to be over there? It's definitely not going to be Ken Crawley. That's what this rule tells me. It's not going to be Ken Crawley. I think Alontae Taylor would be a great substitute for Marshawn Lattimore when he needs to set out for a play or two just to catch his breath. I like this move. I like it simply because it is a luxury pick that only makes their secondary that much better. He's got a lot to learn in terms of, just not overreaching, but he loves to play press man coverage, which fits what the Saints like to do scheme wise in their secondary. They like to play man to man across the board and with single high safety. I like that. I like that a lot. I think Alontae Taylor is stepping into a great situation with the New Orleans Saints. Not just with Dennis Allen, but with Chris Richard being the secondary coach. And you know how good and well regarded Chris Richard is. So Alontae Taylor is going to be another big piece, another big acquisition that the secondary could need. And you can, like I said earlier, you can never have too many of those guys. What about their third pick? The third pick, which came much later, actually their fourth pick, not their third pick. Their fourth pick came in the fifth round with DeMarco Jackson, linebacker from App State. Guys, listen to me when I tell you this. DeMarco Jackson is great value for the New Orleans Saints considering where he was drafted from. I'm going to tell you why. DeMarco Jackson was the 2021 Defensive Player of the Year in the All Sun Belt Conference. In the Sun Belt Conference, let me say it again. DeMarco Jackson was the 2021 Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year. Two-time first team All-Pro, All Sun Belt, Two-time first team All Sun Belt. Two-time first team All Sun Belt. In just 2021, he came off literally his best season. In 2021, DeMarco Jackson posted 119 tackles, 56 of them being solo, 5 passes defended, 6 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble. DeMarco Jackson is a thumper in the run game. You guys saw how Pete Warner was so good in the run. DeMarco Jackson is that and more. Because he also is able to play out in space. He can also play coverage. Sideline to sideline speed, great leadership. He was the captain for App State in his 2021 year. He's got a mean streak to him. Demario Davis is not getting any younger. As much as I would love for him to stay here for as long as possible, we had to address the fact that Demario Davis came up just a little bit. It was just a little bit of a slump from Demario Davis this year. And he's not going to get any younger. He can still play at a high level, but you want to get your successor in the building early to learn from one of the best linebackers in the game. So when it's time for him to step in, there'll be like a seamless transition. DeMarco Jackson has all the tools in the toolbox already. DeMarco Jackson was graded to be a 4th round at the latest, potential fourth round draft pick. The Saints got him in the 5th. He was like a mid-third. He was like a mid-third to late 4th round. Saints got him in the 5th. You can't argue that. You cannot argue that. I love this. I love this for the Saints. But this does says to me that Quan Alexander is most likely not returning back with the Saints this year, and I hate that because Quan Alexander, that dude got energy for days, and he's one of the better cover linebackers in the league. He really saved the Saints' necks a lot of the time when it comes to, playing zone coverages against tight ends, against running backs. Quan Alexander did that. So, hey, I could be wrong. I could be wrong like I have been so far. The Saints could still look to bring Quan Alexander back in the building. And DeMarco Jackson teams this year. That would be my guess. Right? You just never know. Now, what about their 6th round pick? Excuse me, I got the hiccups. The 6th round pick, the Saints selected, another Jackson guy. But he was from the Air Force. Defensive tackle Jackson from Air Force. This is a pretty decent depth move. I don't expect too much from Jackson, at least not right now. But you can never have too many of those guys when you're looking at what the Saints had to go through last year. The New Orleans Saints were decimated along their defensive line. They couldn't get any pass rush going as a result. When David Onyemata was suspended for 6 games due to substance abuse, we saw Cameron Jordan, Tano Passigno, those guys getting doubled. They had the highest double team rate before David Onyemata came back from suspension, and they had no pass rush as a result. It showed its ugly head in week 2 against Carolina Panthers. The talent level between David Onyemata and the next best guy, which is Shy Tuttle from Tennessee, it is very prevalent because Shy Tuttle is more of a run stopper than he is a pass rusher. Jackson from Air Force came off his best year of 7.5 sacks. 7.5 sacks for Jackson. I like that. It's I wouldn't say it's game wrecking, but it's definitely a contributor to being able to disrupt the quarterback. And that's what the Saints are going to be leaning heavy on this year. With all the moves they made so far in the offseason, with adding Kentavious Street, getting back Tano Passigno from injury, getting back Peyton Turner from injury, he can play inside and outside. They brought back Malcolm Roach from Texas. My guy, Malcolm Roach. I love you, guy. I love you, but it is what it is. They had to switch out several guys from Josiah Bronson, an undrafted guy, to Montavious Adams. He's over there up at Pittsburgh now, but you can never have too many of those guys on your line. When you have talent or potential to be a good, decent pass rusher while also playing the run, you have to go and get them. You have to get as much depth at that line as much as possible, because otherwise you're in trouble. The Saints can't go another stretch without getting some type of pass rush. You can't rely on just one guy in your interior to generate a pass rush for you. It's just not going to work. You need more than just David Onyemata. As much as I love Shy Tuttle, as much as I love, Malcolm Roach, those guys aren't going to cut it. They need pass rushers in the middle. Kentavious Street could be one of them. He came off his best year with the San Francisco 49ers. And Jackson coming off his best year with the Air Force. I like that move. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to make the 53-man roster at the end of training camp. No, I'm not going to say that. But he has a real strong chance to make that happen. I will say that, because his competition is not as stiff as you might think. His competition, other than Shy Tuttle, obviously, is Malcolm Roach, Kentavious Street, Josiah Bronson, maybe Jalen Holmes, maybe Jalen Dalton if he gets going. Competition is going to be, I would say, fairly easy if he can really just keep his head on his shoulders and really show up and show out in training camp. He has a good shot. It's on him to really put all the pieces together. Now, here's where things get interesting for the New Orleans Saints, the undrafted pool. The undrafted pool this year for the Saints is probably as good as it's going to get. They got several guys in the undrafted pool coming in for training camp that can really potentially make a real good run to make the final roster. And I'll name a few. I will name a few right now. Number 1, Lucas Kroll, tight end from Pittsburgh. Lucas Kroll was the security blanket for Kenny Pickett, who went in the first round to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lucas Kroll is more of a receiving tight ends, coming off at 38 catches for 453 yards in 2021. He was like I said, security blanket, but he's not much of a run blocker. I believe that would be more of Troutman's thing. I have no idea what this is about. I'm not watching that, but Lucas Kroll is going to have to show that he can be a run blocker just as well as he can be a potential pass catching tight end. But Lucas Kroll has a good shot. Will it happen? I don't know. But I like Lucas Kroll. I like what he brought to Pittsburgh, and especially in his last year there. Another one, Rashid Shaheed, the return specialist from Weber State. Rashid Shaheed broke the NCAA record for kick returns for touchdowns. That is amazing special teams value. I think he had seven kick returns that went for touchdowns during his time there in Weber State. He can give you a little bit in receiving game, but if I was to make a real good guess here, I would say he's going to use more for special teams in return game. So it frees up Deontay Hardy, formerly known as Deontay Harris, if you haven't been keeping up, to really do his thing on offense and not have to worry about taking so many hits and on two separate units. Rashid Shaheed is a guy that can really make an impact. I really do believe that. I think they have a good vision for Rashid Shaheed. We have that much value, and not only that, Rashid Shaheed is a 4-time All-American. To be specific, Rashid Shaheed is a 4-time first-team All-Big Sky, the Big Sky Conference. Rashid Shaheed is a 4-time first-team All-Big Sky. That is impressive. No matter how small the conference is, that is impressive to do consistently. His returning ability is by far the best. By far the best. I love that. That is great special teams value. You know how much the Saints love their special teams guys. Rashid Shaheed has a good chance, I say, out of anyone in this undrafted pool to make the final roster. And speaking of the guys who have a good shot at making the roster, what about Abram Smith, running back from Baylor? That's another guy I got my eye on right there. Abram Smith posted over 1,600 yards and 12 touchdowns in his 2021 campaign with Baylor. What stood out to me when I look at the tape from Abram Smith, he is a violent runner. He is surprisingly elusive when he's out in open space. He is a guy who loves that zone scheme, those zone runs. And the Saints are looking to get aggressive, looking to become a real dominant force on the ground, because not only that, Mark Ingram's just getting old. He's not going to be here around. He's not going to be here, I would say, beyond this year. Not only that, Tony Jones Jr. hasn't been all that impressive. Tony Jones Jr. needs to do more. Otherwise, Abram Smith's going to kick him to the curve. Now, he needs to have that preseason type of production he had last year. He needs to translate that better. But I don't think it's going to happen. Abram Smith is a violent guy. And a violent guy, he loves to make contact. He doesn't shy away from contact whatsoever. Now, what he struggles with is he needs to show that he can catch out of the backfield. That was a caveat, or not say a caveat, I would say a detriment to Abram Smith as a running back. That's why I would say that's the main reason why he didn't get drafted, along with the fact that he's had injury history concerns with his knees. But to be fair, he did have to play running back. They got switched to linebacker, and then have to go back to running back in 2021. I think with that experience, it'll come handy. And we have a new strength and conditioning coach that comes from Alabama. And you know how successful those guys are, coaching staff and all. I think Abram Smith because of the back room, is looking pretty weak right now. There's a good chance that Alvin Kamara is going to be suspended at the start of the regular season. Mark Ingram, Tony Jones, there's not a lot of guys back there. Dwayne Washington is just purely a special teams guy that will come in on occasion if injuries to the backfield bring him to the forefront. And not to mention that Ty Montgomery is gone. I think he signed with the New England Patriots. Abram Smith has a very, very good shot. A very, very good shot to make the final roster because of what he did in his last year with Baylor in terms of being a violent runner on the ground with a rock. I love Abram Smith. I really do. I need a guy that's not going to be afraid to put the lumber to opposing linebackers, to opposing defensive linemen, to opposing nickel safeties or safeties that come down or corner, whoever the case may be. Abram Smith can do that with a little extra. And I think that pass catching ability is gonna be coached up over time. I'm not gonna see much of it this year if he does make the final roster. I think he's purely gonna be a guy that's gonna be on the ground, toting the rock, keeping the Saints ahead of the chains, so on and so forth. That's what I believe. So let's go over that one more time. Abram Smith, Rashid Shaheed, Lucas Crow. Those are my top three. Those are my top three in terms of who I believe is going to make the final roster. What about anybody else? Is there anybody else that I'm looking at? The wild card, Smoke Monday. Safety from Auburn. I'm surprised that Smoke Monday didn't get drafted, but I like his energy. I like the way he plays as a box safety, who can also play a little bit of the free safety, that versatility. That's always valuable. And there's not much depth behind Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus May when it comes to that secondary. What if one of those guys get injured? You still got PJ Williams back there and maybe JT Gray, but JT Gray is more of a special teams guy. He's not a guy that you can really rely on to hold down the fort when it comes to the back end. Smoke Monday can do that. I like Smoke Monday. I like what he does. I think he could be a guy that hits the depth chart. Sure, he can play that special teams if he's willing. I hope he would be willing, because I believe that's a surefire way to make this team through special teams and work their way up. But I'm really surprised at the fact I thought Smoke Monday was going to be at least a 5th round pick. I thought that for sure. I don't know what happened, but hey, it is what it is. The Saints got a potential hidden gem there. Smoke Monday is a guy that you would love to play with and hate to play against. Where have we heard that before? CD Deuce. Hey, but look, I hope Smoke Monday makes the team. I hope he does, man, because I love what I've seen from him for social media. He's already embracing the Saints culture from telling if you guys haven't paid attention to his Instagram, Smoke Monday posted to his Instagram story, him driving by the Atlanta Falcons Stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, saying they gotta see him 2 times a year. Y'all gotta see me 2 times a year, buddy. Good luck. Hey, I like that. If someone already willing to embrace the culture of a team, I think they're going to do great things. I really do. So, all hats off to Smoke Monday. I hope you make the team, man. Because I need that energy. I need all that energy. I need this defense to get into the head of opposing offenses. I need them to shut everybody down. I need that defense to get them frustrated. I need the Juice Boys 2.0 to turn up another level. Please and thank you. We is definitely coming, Elite Goods. We is definitely coming. I'm going to keep this short because I do have my grandma I want to spend some time with, and then but after these final thoughts, I'm going to read a couple of comments, then we're going to get up out of here, okay? My final thoughts here, shout out to Dennis Allen, man. Really, seriously, shout out to Dennis Allen, because I did not expect these type of moves to be made. Sure, the beginning of the offseason was kind of slow, but that was more to my expectation. But he really hit the ground running after the draft. He really did. He stood by his word saying, play tough, play smart, and play with a level of intensity and energy that opposing teams are going to be either unwilling or unable to match. He's so far gotten all these guys that fit the profile of what he's been saying. I like that. Tough, smart, and playing with the energy that can't or won't be reciprocated. Dennis Allen has made the most obvious moves, the more common sense moves, and we praise him for that. And I think that speaks more to the detriment of Sean Payton in his last couple of years, but still, it's impressive. He made a believer out of me. That's how bad Sean Payton messed up my mentality when it comes to offseason moves for the Saints. That's how bad he messed me up. Because we all know Sean Payton is a guy that will forever be regarded as one of the best head coaches the Saints franchise has ever had all time. He brought us a Lombardi. He turned around a city. He turned around a franchise, along with Drew Brees, mind you. But he was probably he's going to be regarded as one of the most innovative offensive minds in the game of football. Period, bar none. I would say bar none, alongside Andy Reid for Kansas City. But there's been plenty of times that we have to take the bad along with the good, and the bad has oftentimes shown itself when you're looking at the last 3 seasons. Sure, we've been successful in the regular season. Come on with the most wins, most in the NFL over the last 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. But what for that? We made it to the NFC Championship in 2018, but we haven't gotten out of the division round not since then. And that's mainly because we haven't had a really good receiving core for a long time. Just relying on Michael Thomas to bear the forefront of attention for the New Orleans Saints is not going to cut it. Look at what the Cincinnati Bengals have done. They've got Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They have a 3-headed monster out there. And in just the second year for Joe Burrow, the Bengals were in the Super Bowl. They didn't win, but they were in the Super Bowl just last year. And that's mainly because their offense was explosive. They had guys that could take a top off a defense. They have game-wrecking receivers, athletic guys like T. Higgins, a guy that can break a game open in Jamar Chase, the veteran experience and leadership in Tyler Boyd. The Saints didn't have that, not for a long time. They just had Michael Thomas, who went down in injury he missed all of 2021. We were sitting here getting pumped up about Kevin White, Kenny Stills, Lil Jordan Humphrey. We were getting excited for these guys in 2021. Think about that. Really think about that. Let that sink in for a second. We were sitting here getting excited for guys like that to really save our receiving core. We were getting pumped up about Trevor Siemian, Ian Book, first start against the Miami Dolphins, Taysom Hill at quarterback. We were getting excited about these guys in these positions to really keep the Saints afloat. Think about that. Let that sink in, please. Please let that sink in. That makes no sense. We were in a bad place. We were in a bad place for I would say almost too long. Now, not as long as compared to other teams, but one season is too many for me. One season is too many, especially if you're considering yourself to still be in a win-now situation. And speaking of win-now, the Saints are now opening their Super Bowl window to, I would say, 2, maybe even 3 years. They've expanded that with the recent moves that they have made, not just in the draft, but in the free agency, with the recent one being Tyrann Mathieu. Because Tyrann Mathieu is still only 29 years old. He's still in his prime. Tyrann Mathieu is still in his prime. So the Super Bowl window for the New Orleans Saints, I think the biggest opportunity would be this year, when the NFC conference is as weak as it's ever going to be. The Packers lost Devontae Adams. They had to replace him with Christian Watson. They got 3 total receivers, but those rookies, I don't know. They lost all that. They have a completely new look in terms of their receiving game alongside Aaron Rodgers. You can't look at the Packers and think they're going to go as further. They're going to go further than the Saints right now. What about the Bucs? No one's scared of Tampa Bay. Nobody's scared of Tom Brady. Nobody's scared of Mike Evans. No one's scared of Chris Godwin. They don't have Antonio Brown anymore. For the moment, they don't have Rob Gronkowski. They have a new running back alongside Leonard Fournette, mind you. They have new guards. Their offensive line is going to be completely different from the interior standpoint. One's coming over from New England. Another one they drafted. Their defensive line is old. Yeah, they addressed the need, but with I think Logan Hall from Houston. I think it was Logan Hall. But seriously, guys, no one's scared of Tampa. I'm not scared of Tampa. Are you scared of Tampa? Are y'all scared of Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I sure as hell am not. The Saints have had the Tampa Bay Bucks number since Tom Brady came into the NFC South. Save for that one fluke win in the divisional round, the Saints have had their number. Their last matchup, the Saints held them to 0 points. That was Dennis Allen, mind you, not Sean Payton. Shut them out in their own home stadium. I am not scared of Tampa whatsoever. Atlanta, please. You pass up a chance to get Jameson Williams or CHRIS Olave or you had your pick of everybody, and you chose Drake London. You chose Drake London. Why? Traylon Burks, CHRIS Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams. You chose Drake London. Jahan Dotson. You chose Drake London. Their pass rush is still trash. They lost their leading tackler in Foye Oluokun in offseason. Their run stopping, not that great. No one's scared of Atlanta. Carolina's already a freaking mess. Because I've said from the beginning, I don't trust Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule is going to be fired after this year. I really do. They drafted Matt Corral, sure. What other moves have they really made that's considered notable? They're going to be the players that can really contribute to help them make a push for the playoffs. Nobody by my count. No one's scared of Carolina. Sure, you got the Rams over there, but I'm not too worried about the Rams. No one repeats. No one's repeated in a long time. The closest anyone has gotten to repeating was Kansas City because they went to back-to-back Super Bowls, and they lost their second one to the Bucs. No one's scared of San Francisco. No one's definitely scared of Arizona. Nobody is scared of Seattle whatsoever. I think Seattle's going to be the weakest team in the NFC West. What about the East? The Eagles? Sure, maybe. As a wild card. The Cowboys? Please. Cowboys ain't going to be nothing special. But they're going to be a contender to win the NFC East. I'll give them that. Nobody is scared of Washington Commanders. Nobody is scared of Washington Commanders or the New York Giants. Especially the New York Giants. What about the North? The Lions, they could do a little something, but that's more for next year than this year. The Bears, joke of a franchise. Poverty. The Vikings, The fact of the matter is the NFC is completely weak, especially when you compare it to the AFC. The AFC is anybody's game. Like, it is competition for days over there in the AFC. The NFC is just right for the taking for any consistent team. And the Saints fit the bill when it comes to consistency. There is not a better time than right now for the Saints to make a run in the playoffs and potentially get to the promised land, which is the Super Bowl. What stopped them last year were injuries. And that's exactly why they went and get that strength and conditioning coach from Alabama. I don't think we're going to see anywhere closer to the amount of injuries we saw last year. Much less am I going to see COVID racket rear its ugly head again in this locker room on 3 occasions. I don't see that happening. I really don't. All right, let's go ahead and get into some of these comments, and then we're going to get up out of here. Thank you guys very much for joining the BG Breakdown Podcast tonight. I hope you guys are doing very, very well. You guys are always blessed and appreciated as always. Let's go ahead and read all the way up. I'm going to scroll up just a bit here, and then we're going to start here with Ro City. What's going on, Ro? These hacks are really talking about the Seahawks, but straight gloss over the Saints. It's fucking go time. The Seahawks, no one's scared of the Seattle Seahawks this year. No one is scared of the Seattle Seahawks this year. Come on. Rudy Verdon. What's going on, Rudy? Rudy says, I have a crazy idea. If Alontae doesn't play quarterback / safety with that wingspan of his, how would you feel he played wide receiver tight end? That's that's a stretch. I don't see that happening. Well, I will say that Dennis Allen said that he sees Alontae Taylor as a corner. I see Alontae Taylor rotating in with Marshawn Lattimore, just like Bradley Roby has been doing with Paulson Adebo. Keep those guys fresh. That's what I see happening for them, and I think it's a good thing to have because Alontae Taylor can play both the left and the right side. He has that versatility, and he can play safety in need be. So let's say an injury plague hits the safety room. Alontae Taylor can slip into that backfield. He can play that free safety spot. He can play strong safety. He has that type of versatility to his name, and that's a luxury. It's a real luxury. But for the moment, I see him being a rotational guy on the right side of the cornerback side, right side with Marshawn Lattimore. I think that's good. You keep those dudes fresh. This is a 17-week season. A 17-game season, excuse me. 17-game, 18-week season for the Saints. I think that's a luxury. I love that. So I don't think he's going to play wide receiver or tight end. I don't see that happening whatsoever. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Mind you, this was prior to the first game against the Milton Nacho Cheeseheads. That is true. That is also true. State of the Saints at 9:40 p.m. I will definitely be tuning into that. That's another reason why I'm getting out here as quickly as possible because I love my boy TJ. JT, what's going on, JT? Blessings BG, Elite, what's going on? He's shouting at everybody. JT, you loved over here, man. You loved over here. We got 18 people. I love it. I love to see it. Guys, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. I want to see that number change from 1.33 to 1.34. I will be doing more content. I promise you I will be doing more content. So you guys hit that subscribe button so we can change that number from a 3.3 to a 3.4. I will be absolutely stoked. If you guys get that number up, I will be putting out more content. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button. Share me around to your fellow football fans. They don't have to be Saints fans specifically, although I would like it. Hit that subscribe button, please. Hit that share button. Share me around to your football friends, your non-football friends. If you guys are if they're interested in learning more about the game, let's grow. Let's grow. I want to grow. DeMarco Polo. Hey. Wow. Okay. I see what you did there. I like that. Let's go ahead and go down a little bit more. Just needs to work on his hit and feet work. I agree. Alontae Taylor just needs to polish that hit and feet work. Faith-based workplace. What's going on? Haven't seen you in a long time. I'm so happy to have you here. What's going on? Let's go down to Rudy. Rudy says, with Rashad as a returner, this will give Hardy more breathing room, allows you to blow the top off defenses. I agree. I think this is a great grab for the New Orleans Saints. I really do, because the New Orleans Saints needed Deontay Hardy to be focused more on the offense. His role is going to be expanded. He's going to be a key piece to what the Saints do offensively in terms of the deep passing game. So with that in mind, they needed to find someone to replace Deontay Hardy on special teams as a returner. Rashid Shaheed is as good as it's going to get. As much as I love Issa Winston Jr., he's not going to do it. He's not going to be that guy that's going to flip the field for the New Orleans Saints. He's not going to be that guy. He can hold it down, but he won't be a game changer. Rashid Shaheed is a game changer. Look no further than what he did in the Big Sky. Like I say, he's a 4-time first team all Big Sky. 4-time All-American. 4-time first team all Big Sky. That is Rashid Shaheed, and he broke the NCAA record for kickoff returns for touchdowns. That is needed. That is a game changer. Y'all know it's about to go down, correct? I absolutely do. We need to be worried about Trevor throwing someone out of the stadium. Probably. Let's go down a little bit more here. What free agent wide receiver is a must if we don't get Jarvis Landry? I would say Julio Jones. I would definitely say Julio Jones. As much as we probably aren't considering Julio Jones and his hamstring issues, he's still a veteran that needs to be respected. He's still a veteran receiver who had a great career, He needs to be respected when he's on the field. I think Julio Jones will be great. There's also Will Fuller that's out there. I don't know about Odell Beckham. He considered the Saints at one point, but nothing manifested. So those are options: Julio Jones, Will Fuller, and Odell Beckham if he still has Saints on his mind. Master Podcast, what's going on? I checked out your recent podcast, bro. Great stuff you were talking about. I'm hoping to catch you live when I have more time on my hands, but I do check out your videos when I have a moment. So most of the times in the evening. Not much, just chilling. We got a Super Bowl defense, and our offense got to deal with MT and Olave. I love it. I absolutely love it. Drew Brees in the chat, the GOAT. Drew Brees, what's going on? See ya. What's going on, Drew? T Dirty. Who that to you? Barbara, Queen. You know you're welcome here. Love to see you. So pumped about Matthew. I'm gonna need a straight jacket. Hey, I hear you. I did not think we would actually get Tyrann Mathieu because I've seen this pan out so many times with the Saints, being linked to these big name guys, these big name players in the offseason. It doesn't manifest. So I talked myself into believing that the Saints were not going to get Tyrann Mathieu, and they actually pulled it off. This is a rarity. It's a rarity that I'm wrong, and I'm happily eating crow because of it. Let's scroll down a little bit more. No one is scared of Tampa. I'm not scared of Tampa. I'm sure as hell not. Matt Rule is an idiot. We agree there. Tampa buns straight up. They are not having a winning season. Brady gets smoked this year. I agree. I definitely agree. Let's read a couple more here, but go ahead and get up on now. Saints will dominate the NFC South and the NFC once again. It is a possibility. We still got the Rams out there. You still got, the Bucks, and no one's scared of them. You still got the 49ers and their defense being, continuity over there. So, and the Packers with the wild card being the Vikings and the Eagles. But no, it's not going to be a better time than right now to dominate if they're going to dominate. And there seems to be a loading up to do just that. Brady will suffer this year. Father Time never loses. I would hope so. I would love that. Let's read a couple more here. We're going to go ahead and get up on out so I can make sure to spend some time with Grandma before I give her a minute to go to sleep. Matt Rule can have 10 quarterbacks, still don't know who's starting. That is true. That's crazy. I seen Kamara at the Heat Sixers game. Hey, that's crazy. Did you get an autograph? I hope you got an autograph because that would be dope. That would be a highlight of a year if that happened. But Kamara at a Heat Sixers game, seems like he's living his best life still. Christine Connolly, I have a YouTube channel. Christine, link your YouTube channel in the comments after this video is over if you're still here. Link your YouTube channel in the comment section of this live stream after it's over so I can go and subscribe to you. I want to make sure you have my support just like you were supporting me. That's what we're all about. Let's read about two more. Taylor can play slot corner where CJ plays. That speaks to the versatility that I was speaking about. Man, rotating in D-line quarterbacks. Watch out, everyone. I agree. Damien, what's going on? It's been a while, bro. Got a new job in field productions. It's been working 16 hours a day. Hey, congratulations. You moving up in the world. I see you, man. Congratulations, Damien. I hope the film production life is working out well for you. I really do. 16 hours a day is no joke. But with the work come the spoils. And I think you're going to see the spoils real soon. I appreciate you coming in. Hey, you coming up big time. You was coming up big time. I really do like that. I'm so happy for you. Who do you think is a steal for the draft for the Saints? DeMarco Jackson, linebacker from App State. DeMarco Jackson was a two-time first-team All-Sun Belt. And he was a 2021 Sun Belt Defensive Player of the Year. DeMarco Jackson is excellent value considering where the Saints got him. Not just from a depth perspective, but also special teams, and he has versatility and the willingness to play any type of linebacker position. That includes the Mike and the Will. So I'm very happy. I am so very happy about that. But I would say Smoke Monday. I hope Smoke Monday makes the team. I really do. All right, guys. that's going to do it for today's episode of the B&G Breakdown Podcast. I will be doing more content. Look out for it. As mini camp draws closer, you're going to be seeing more videos. I hope to have another video apps, video software to do, not just live stream stuff, but other video stuff that I used to do late last year and the summer of last year. Look out for all that stuff. Make sure you hit all my social media from Facebook, facebook.com, search Black and Gold Breakdown. And of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. I want to see that number change from 1.33 to 1.34. So if you guys know anybody that wants Saints content and loves doing collabs with other people, hit that subscribe button, have them hit the subscribe button, and make sure you never miss a single moment when your boy goes up with content by hitting that notification bell. With all that, make sure you hit up my YouTube channel, not my YouTube, my Twitter at Real Aaron Davis, and my Instagram. I haven't been posting much over there because of life, but I will be posting more there as news for the Saints comes out. Hit up all my social media, and I will be back with more content. Continue to look at my community tab here on YouTube. That is where my main source of news comes from. That's where my main source of news comes from and goes to. So continuously look at my community tab if you guys want to keep up on everything. And as always, you guys don't know, you will know over here, we bleed black and gold until we are dead and cold. I will check you guys out next time. And as always, it was TJ Jones. All I got to say is, who dat?